Well, I saw this comment about someone implying that I use steroids in a picture that I just posted on my short. So I want to get into that and talk about. I want to talk about what really. So we have to go back in time. We're talking about Germany. Germany was the time when I was competing already, and the level of bodybuilding was already at a point where even the teenage divisions they were using steroids. I competed drug free in Germany, and I go into the Mr. Germany teenage division, and Günther Schlierkamp shows up. I thought that there was a guest poser. He walked in and he looked like he came off a nuclear reactor, or trained next to it at least. That man was a fucking, that kid, he was only 18 years old. I was 17. Was a complete fucking freak. Now, nobody tested anything in Germany. If they would have, there would have probably only been one person on stage, me. Anyway, I didn't place very high, needless to say. I come to America, I see all these bodybuilders, these gigantics, like the Jim Quinns, the Mike Quinns, the Gary Stridhams, and I'm crushed. I look at this as like, what the fuck, man? In real life for the first time, not just the pictures, but here I come to America, I see the real deal. And I'm realizing how fucking small I am. I remember going to Gold's Gym with my shirt off. I walk in there with my damn shirt off. Had a not a suntan, I would look like a fucking lobster. Oiled up, thinking I can like, make an impact, come in there, like, this idiot from Germany. And people look at me, what the fuck is this guy doing? And I said to him, "Oh, give me my shirt, please. Give me my shirt back," because I see guys like the May in there. I see the freaks, the pros, all that for the first time, right? That's when I realized that I'm the only one trying to win a Formula One race on this fucking skateboard. That's the first time I realized that. But when I come to America, I have no money. I'm broke. I had a little bit of savings. And I trained at Gold's. I was inspired. I had people that were using this stuff next, left, and right. But I just didn't want to do it because I knew there's so much more in my own ability, my own genetics. There's only 21 years old that I can do without having to use steroids. I wanted to do this without it. I wanted to be 100% driven, was driven, very driven, extremely driven. I was living in a fucking apartment that was full of cockroaches on the beach without any money, living off tuna cans and rice cakes. And anybody else would have gone back to Germany and hide in his mom's bosoms. I was out there, man. I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna go. I had that shit. I was ready to go. I trained like a fucking berserker. I trained with more volume, but I still trained like a berserker. And then, again, everything natural. I see Muscle Mania being promoted on ESPN. I'm like, I want to be on that fucking commercial. I want to be part of that. They're naturals? Fuck yeah, let's do it. All right. So I remember, signing up for the actual contest, Muscle Mania 93, Redondo Beach. And I come in, fired up, man. Great posing routines. I look fucking phenomenal. And I came in like third place or so, and it was a very, very tough competition. Stan McQuay, I think, won that one. I believe so. Maybe not. I don't know. Whatever. That was 93. And great posing routine. Remember that? I was just really living it, man. I was living Venice Beach. I won the Mr. Venice Beach competition. From what I remember, I did win that one. Exactly what day it was, I think it was the 4th of July show or something like that. But it was certainly like, I was feeling like this is actually working. I get in a Muscle Mania, I place third. I'm up there, And now the next thing I got this commercial, like a Valio belt commercial where I'm squatting 400 pounds, for reps, and they put on like this gear, and it's on YouTube if you can look it up. It's under, I think I'll find it and put it up eventually. But it's about me being like a race car, treated like a race car. It's kind of neat. And they stuff a protein bar in my face, and they put like a belt on me, and I squat 400 pounds like it's butter. It's actually the real weight, no bullshit, right? So again, I was just very, very much driven, and no steroids, drug tested, piss in the cup, lie detector tests. I did a different federation too, which was the Keiko's Federation. The Keiko's had this guy named Keiko's. He had this show, Natural Mr. Olympia or something like that. I competed in that too, drug tested it, everything else, fine, no drugs. Were the other guys using? I don't know. Probably yes. I don't know. I mean, there's only so far you can go with this, and that's the truth. I mean, if you see someone at 220 pound ripped to the not I'm talking about lean. I'm talking about shredded to the fucking glutes. 220, 510, not gonna happen. You're not gonna be natural. There's no way. And then when I started counting those kind of athletes on stage, when I'm thinking I'm doing everything I can, I started to get very suspicious. Mentor trains me. Mentor saying, Marcus, what are you taking? I'm like, Mike, I'm not taking anything. Nothing. Then get on some damn shit, goddammit. He goes, I'm like, bro, I don't want to do it. I just don't. I want to stay natural. And I want to do heavy duty natural. I want to do high intensity natural. So I can really prove that it works. Because if you're on gear, how do you prove if something works if you're supercharged with this fucking bullshit? Isn't it? Doesn't make sense. So I was trying to do this without, and even, talk back then, and we hadn't have a website or anything like this, but, I was living proof that it did work before there was social media, by being in the magazines. I wrote some articles for Natural Muscle and Muscle magazine. I wrote one about high intensity training. I wrote a few different ones for not Ironman, but it was a few smaller publications. And then, the bigger ones came like Ironman, and I did the cover for that, and I had an interview with this guy about high intensity training, heavy duty training, and all that. So it all lined up eventually, and I sticked with my mission of doing it naturally, okay? And that's it. Now, it's not it. Here comes the catch. I got so fed up at one point doing this shit naturally, not actually winning any major shows, but only being third, fourth, fifth, that I wanted to try an experiment and used a small amount of steroids. What it was doesn't matter. A small amount of steroids in a pre-contest preparation for a show. I did the show, I peaked the cup, nothing came back. That showed me that they were bullshitting. Okay? And at that point, I said to myself, I'm done with this bullshit. Because if I compete, I might as well go all the way with it. But see, I didn't want to do that. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to do what they do because I want to live. I want to live a quality life. And that's what is, I think for me, that's what life is about. Be healthy. Look good. Live a quality life. I'm not a hardcore bodybuilder. I was never a hardcore bodybuilder. I'm far from that. I admire them. I respect them 100%. But I'm not made out of that kind of material. For me, I have a different sense of what I want. And I think you should each one of you guys should be able to decide that, whatever you want to do. But don't fool yourself believing you're going to be 285 pounds, eating chicken, steak, and rice, and training whatever the fuck you train. I don't give a fuck what you do. It's not going to fucking happen, period. Or be on a stage, peeled, with the use of diuretics or steroids or whatever it is. It's not going to happen. Let's not fool each other into that, okay? There's no magic. There's no magic training style, even heavy duty or high intensity, is not going to get to that level, okay? I believe that whether you're on steroids or off steroids, you're better off training high intensity, okay? When you are doing volume training, or yeah, when you're on steroids, you can get away with more volume training. That explains why a lot of pros look the way they do. Is it ideal? I don't think it is. I think it's ideal to train with the minimum amount required in order to make progress. Why do you have to spend hours in the gym if it can be done half the time or a fragment of the time? All right, so what else, man? I mean, yeah, that's about it. That's my steroid story, I guess. I did come up with that video when I um when I did that show, and I realized that they were just like throwing those samples away apparently. So I made a video about it and I put it on YouTube. I think it's a long time ago, and I talked about that. Shit, here it is, guys. I was using shit. They weren't paying attention or they didn't give a fuck about it in the first place. So I'm out. You know, if I'm gonna take steroids, it's gonna be from my TRT, which I'm gonna be controlled by a doctor. Right now, that's not it's not priority in my life. Priority in my life is to produce more great videos. I hope you liked it, and I hope that cleared some of you questions up in regards to the steroid use that I have or have not participated in. I hope you liked the video. Hit the like and subscribe. Comment below